Geometry EOC Test Release 2025 Question 2, Walkthrough Coordinate Geometry.
Let's read question number 2. Line segment MN has endpoints M, -7, 10, and N, -1, 1. Point P is on line segment MN such that the ratio MP to PN is 2:1. What is the x-coordinate of point P?
This question was answered correctly by only 23% of students. That tells us it's not just about graphing points. It's about understanding how ratios divide a line segment proportionally. As we go through this, focus on how the ratio controls the movement from one endpoint to the other. This is about thinking in fractions of distance.
All right, let's solve this step by step. First, I'm going to plot point M at -7, 10 and point N at -1, 1. Then I'll connect them to form segment MN so we can see the entire line. Now we're told that point P lies between M and N and divides the segment in a ratio of 2:1. When we say a point divides a segment in a 2:1 ratio, we're describing how the segment is split. The numbers 2 and 1 tell us how many parts each section gets. First, add the ratio numbers. 2 plus 1 equals 3. This means the entire segment is divided into 3 equal parts. Now we interpret the ratio. The part from M to P has 2 of those parts. The part from P to N has 1 of those parts. So point P is not in the middle. It is closer to N because the section from M to P is longer. Since there are 3 equal parts total and P is 2 parts away from M, that means point P is 2 out of 3 equal parts from M toward N. In other words, point P is 2/3 of the way from M to N. We use this idea that P is 2/3 of the distance from M to N to find its x-coordinate. That's the key idea. Now, the question asks only for the x-coordinate, so we'll focus on the x values first. The x-coordinate of M is -7. That's our starting point horizontally. The x-coordinate of N is -1. That's our ending point horizontally. Now let's find the total horizontal change from M to N. We subtract final point minus initial point. -1 minus -7 equals 6. So moving from M to N means we move 6 units to the right. That is the total distance from M to N. But point P is not all the way at N. It's only 2/3 of the way there. So we take 2/3 of 6. 2/3 times 6 equals 4. That means starting at -7, we move 4 units to the right. -7 plus 4 equals -3. So the x-coordinate of point P is -3. And that is your final answer. Now, even though the question only asks for the x-coordinate, I want to go one step further and find the y-coordinate as well. Why? Because strong students don't stop at the minimum. They understand the full picture. Remember, point P is located 2/3 of the way from M to N. We already used that idea for the x values. Now we'll apply the exact same reasoning to the y values. The y-coordinate of M is 10. That's our starting point vertically. The y-coordinate of N is 1. That's our ending point vertically. Now let's find the total vertical change from M to N. We subtract final point minus initial point. 1 minus 10 equals -9. The negative sign means we are moving from M to N. We go down 9 units. But again, point P is only 2/3 of the way from M toward N. So we take 2/3 of -9. 2/3 times -9 equals -6. That means, starting at 10, we move down 6 units. 10 plus -6 equals 4. So the y-coordinate of point P is 4. Final coordinate of point P. Earlier we found the x-coordinate was -3. Now we found the y-coordinate is 4. So the full coordinate of point P is -3, 4. Notice something important here. We didn't memorize a formula. We understood that a ratio tells us what fraction of the total movement to take, both horizontally and vertically. That's coordinate geometry thinking.